So mainly there are three phases for gastric secretion, out of which first phase is the cephalic phase. Cephalic phase. Second is the gastric phase, and third is the intestinal phase. So these are the three phases of gastric secretion: cephalic phase, gastric phase and intestinal phase. So what is meant by cephalic phase? Cephalic phase occurs before the food enters the stomach. So this occurs before the entry of food into the stomach, whereas gastric phase occurs when the food enters the stomach, and intestinal phase occurs when the food starts to empty from the stomach into the intestine. So first I will discuss about the cephalic phase. So what is meant by cephalic phase of gastric secretion? So cephalic phase of gastric secretion occurs before the entry of food into the stomach. Before the entry of food into the stomach. So if you take the total gastric secretion, it contributes to about 20 to 30% of the total gastric secretion. So cephalic phase contributes 20 to 30% of the total gastric secretion. When do this cephalic phase start? So this cephalic phase is initiated by the sight or thought or smell or taste of food. So the cephalic phase is initiated by sight, seeing the food or thinking about the food, or by appreciating the smell of the food, or like by taste of the food. So all these can initiate the cephalic phase. So what is the mechanism, or what is responsible for the cephalic phase? So what happens is, like, whenever there is a sight or thought or smell or taste of the food, there will be generation of neurogenic impulses from the cerebral cortex or the appetite centers in the hypothalamus or amygdala. So the impulses will be originating from cerebral cortex, hypothalamus, appetite centers of the hypothalamus or amygdala will be sending impulses to the dorsal vagal nucleus in medulla. This will be sending impulses to the dorsal vagal nuclei in medulla, and from there vagal efferents will be sending the fibers to vagal efferents will be sending the fibers to the stomach, where it innervates the G cells, chief cells, parietal cells, etc., so as to cause an increase in the gastric secretion. So in short, cephalic phase occurs before the entry of food into the stomach, which constitute about 20 to 30% of the total gastric secretion. It is initiated by the sight or thought or smell or taste of the food. The impulses, neurogenic impulses, that is originating from the cerebral cortex, amygdala or hypothalamus, is passed the dorsal vagal nuclei in medulla, and through the vagal efferent fibers it reaches the stomach and stimulates the G cells, chief cells, parietal cells, ultimately resulting in an increase in the gastric secretion. So here you can see that the cephalic phase is mainly regulated by the vagus. So there is a neural mechanism of regulation of the cephalic phase.